Welcome back. We're going into the second map between HasuObs, the Russian human spawning in teal on the left hand side of XyLigan, and HasuObs, the pink German undead spawning on the right hand side of XyLigan. He's starting with the altar and Ziggurat again, like he did on Turtle Rock. Gonna have the crypt next right now with the Ecolite, I'm assuming here, since he put the rally point here. And eventually gonna have the second Ziggurat and the shop, most likely. And HasuObs on the other side, altar, barracks, farm, and second farm. Yeah, as was to be expected. And yeah, he's up 1-0. XyLigan, of course, a totally different map compared to Turtle Rock. If HasuObs again is getting an early game like that and then follows it up with an expansion, I think things are a lot harder for the human player, because, you know, laming and doing hit and run and stuff isn't possible as much or in the same way as it is on Turtle Rock, because there's no second expansion to take for the human. But then again, the expansion itself is a lot easier to take, and you have mercenary access, so you have to get the way better early game compared to Turtle Rock, which then again you have the means to do given by the map. So it's just a completely different dynamic in that aspect. On XyLigan, different advantages for the human, different disadvantages, long-term disadvantages, but generally speaking, considered a way better human map than Turtle Rock is, even though late game laming isn't you know, as much of an issue for the undead on XyLigan as it is on Turtle Rock. So AM is out, Death Knight is out, Militia, 4 of them being called. Is he just going for the instant expansion here? It looks like it, yeah. 4 Militia is not enough to take this mercenary camp with the Death Knight heading across the map already. But creeping the expansion usually or often is done by 4 Militia if it's done, if it's done right in the beginning, since, you know, you need some guys chopping wood down here at home. Tower is coming. DK is coming. By the way, yeah, completely standard glue opening here by HasuObs. And if I saw it correctly, 2 of the peasants have already fallen. HasuObs does not get the last hit here against the Forest Troll Trapper, but the 3rd Militia is already falling. This is not well done by HasuObs. Look at how much damage, look at how little damage he's taken on the water metal. He's tanked almost everything with his regular units, and those aren't really expenses that he wants to afford here early on. HasuObs finishing the Forest Troll Trapper here, so not even level 2 yet for the AM, but there it is, thanks to another skeleton kill. The footman is trying to get a block in, but the rest of the army is way too far away to deal any damage. Nice block on the skeleton here, securing himself another bunch of XP. And HasuObs is actually just now attacking, bringing the ghouls across the map right now. And yeah, 3 footmen currently, a 4th one is out. AM level 2 as previously mentioned, against the 6 ghouls that are heading across the map right now. 7 to be more, are it 6 or 7? Now splitting up, yeah, it's 7 ghouls actually. The footman here would have seen it. I was thinking for a second that HasuObs might be going towards the main to not get scouted by the scout farm in the middle, but he's revealing his strat here, his approach. And, you know, I guess HasuObs gonna have to show him how well he's gonna be able to defend that. Militia duration about to run out, and then it's gonna be the AM and the 4 footman. Actually, the 4th footman is not being pulled down, still sitting up here, and we do see on the minimap that more Militia are being pulled immediately. He's gonna need that against these ghouls, because that is a huge threat here to the AM, and he's a little bit slow, but he did get the Staff of Teleportation, Boots of Speed, and he's kept the Claws of Attack +6, which he found down here. He sold the Town Portal even, so that was really an expensive early game so far for the human player. The tower gets cancelled, second Scout Tower is finishing right now, 1 of the peasants is falling as well. HasuObs putting down here, surrounding another footman, coiling one of his ghouls, so far doing a good job. The water metals and the AM with the claws are doing some sick damage against those low HP ghouls though, so this one has to fall back. HasuObs doing some more damage. The creeps are being woken up by HasuObs, but unfortunately, from his point of view, none of HasuObs' units got surrounded or poisoned by the Nightcrawler. In the meantime, tier 2 soon to finish. Slaughterhouse coming. Never mind. Graveyard coming, and he's gonna add at least one Slaughterhouse eventually. We'll see if this time he's gonna go for the expansion again. HasuObs with a level 2 here, and he picks up the tome. No XP tome though. Or, yeah, if he's gonna go for a big push this time. So, no more mana on the Death Knight. The Ghoul therefore is probably doomed, as the IEM does have boots and is able to kill it. But HasuObs at the same time is doing more damage, delaying the expansion even further. We're already 5.5 minutes into this game, so for an instant expansion this is insanely late. And HasuObs, given that the creeps are still there, doesn't really dare to go here and, you know, risk HasuObs waking up the creeps with his DK to have them ensnare his footman. What's happening here? So some footmen heading towards the middle, trying to pick off the ghoul for free. HasuObs in the meantime trying to do some more harassment with his DK, and the ghouls doesn't pay attention to that one, but he's gotten another kill down here with this little squad. So another peasant falling, another little economic damage dealt. The IEM might be coming in from the top here, eventually trying to chase down another ghoul. DK is totally out of mana. He's going around the top here. He really wants to cut off HasuObs on his way, and I'm guessing one of the ghouls is going to fall at least against this IEM. Still has so much mana, casting another Water Mantle, and let's see how much he's going to be able to pick off. Yeah, one ghoul, definitely. Let's see, deny maybe? No. Yeah, but the one ghoul, that's going to be it. That's still alright for HasuObs. Double Slaughterhouse coming. This one's going to finish. Tier 3 is coming very quickly again, and is he this time going to be able to cancel this one? Maybe, but there's plenty of ghouls around for HasuObs. So let's see how well he's going to fare against this. Waterman gets around immediately, and HasuObs isn't even trying to go for the Slaughterhouse here. He just wants to pick off a few free ghouls perhaps, but HasuObs so far is doing a good job pulling these ghouls back, but he's going to run out of ghouls. Eventually, IEM almost surrounded, but he still has the staff, keep that in mind. So not really any danger of dying, but danger of being forced to go back at least. Acolytes are being pulled. This is gonna get really close, and the Slaughterhouse is not finishing here, and he's not cancelling it either. So super close call here, very important for HasuObs. This means that a mass destroyer push is probably off the table for HasuObs, and this changes the dynamic of this game entirely. Tier 3, yeah, soon to finish. Footman heading inside of HasuObs' base. Tier 3 is soon to finish, so he's not going to be able to force a cancel on that one anymore or anything, but still, this delays HasuObs' everything basically here. IEM is surrounded right now. He's going to staff immediately because, yeah, otherwise he's going to take too much damage. The two footmen here might be doomed here. Tech is about to finish and they are trapped, and both of them are going to fall. First statue is being produced, but at the same time HasuObs has gained some time. He can start producing a bunch of towers. He's not gonna need a sick amount of towers here, since it's only production from one Slaughterhouse. Second statue is gonna spawn for HasuObs. Destroyer upgrade is gonna fall afterwards. He doesn't have a second hero yet, which points towards, or would have pointed towards, a much more push-oriented approach here by him, not investing into a, you know, low value level 1 second hero, which he'd have to creep up ideally. But now he's produced another Acolyte, which is heading down. He's getting himself the Panda second, so it looks like he's gonna have to go into a longer game again, which, as I've mentioned in the beginning, isn't entirely horrible on Echo Eyes, generally speaking. And it's not like HasuObs had a great early game to begin with, so I think HasuObs is still in this game. The IEM is now gonna reach level 3, but with the Destroyer upgrade finishing, you know, somewhat soon, this should be a rather safe counter expansion for HasuObs currently, because HasuObs is still far away from getting any, you know, army that can threaten this expansion seriously. So Panda almost level 2, Death Knight with one statue backing him up to provide some mana, I imagine, trying to go for some harassment. He sees that HasuObs is not yet creeping the marketplace. He's heading there right now, but I think with 1 IEM and 2 footmen, that's not really something he'd want to do. Destroyer is probably going to be morphed here eventually, just to prevent the statue from dying. Or is it? Yes, now it is. HasuObs had just had to wait for that 100 gold, so that got rather close there. Destroyer now being more of the one footman is probably going to die. There is another coil, not really sure if he wants to use it. Well, apparently he does want to use it. IEM is coming in right now, and he's got the mana for another water metal, so he might even be able to deny this because, or to at least delay this expansion, because the Destroyer is a little bit out of position. The IEM is trying to get there. HasuObs is doing a good job with the Ghouls and the Panda, though, keeping the IEM away from his expansion. And yeah, he is not able to do anything about that. Nicely done by HasuObs. The Nerubian Tower is being upgraded already. Towers, this is easily enough towers here against the style that HasuObs is playing. Maybe HooLigan realized it a little bit too late. Still went for a huge bunch of towers. Tier 2 finished, Mountain King is coming. Tier 3, it's gonna be... Ah, okay, there it is. I was just wondering. But no, against the counter expansion, there's no point in playing Mass Tier 2. Like, super old school style would have been like pushing up to like 80 supply Rifleman caster super quickly here and push. But yeah, that's already been super old school at the point this game was played. Yeah, here nothing too exciting going on. Lich 3rd being added right now. The Acolytes safely escorted to the expansion by the DK. The Panda in the meantime creeps the middle with just a bunch of ghouls. And the statue HasuObs is doing some very nice multitasking here, defending with only the DK. The IEM cannot surprise him here at all. Staff of Teleportation has to be used. Staffing to the footman up here, and it looks like now he's gonna start creeping the marketplace perhaps with a water mantle. MK IEM and the 3 footmen. And what is he getting here? Double workshop and a second barracks. So we're most likely gonna see knights flying machines, or perhaps knights with a few tanks to go along with it. Mass tanks isn't really an option on Echoes because you cannot get a second expansion to go along with it, which you really need to get up if you play mass tanks. So yeah, that's not gonna happen here. Both the second heroes are in a bit of trouble. The IEM is also in a bit of trouble. Inward Potion used on both the Mountain King and the Panda, and HasuObs is keeping this around closed against the MK here, just as I was saying it, but now he's stopping this around. Does he have another coil? Not quite, but in a second. Now he's got it. Mountain King has got no items to protect him. Boots of Speed have been passed to him though, so the IEM might even run into trouble here without the boots. Breath of Fire is coming in. Death Knight is far away from having another coil though, so unless he gets this around here, this should get pretty tricky for HasuObs. But does he get this around? Almost. But he's keeping the IEM on the middle of the map, so this is, yeah, he's just gonna get the kill here, I think, because the aura is just, yeah, providing him with superior movement speed. Or is the IEM actually gonna get the staff used? He's using the waterman, and HasuObs isn't microing carefully enough, but the rest of the army is trying to cut off the IEM in the middle of the map. Another hit by the ghoul here needs to cancel the healing scroll. Breath of Fire is coming in, and the kill of HasuObs. Wow, he took so long chasing down that IEM that the level 1 MK is already back, but yeah, some huge momentum lost there by HooLigan. He's got no means of creeping up his second hero here. HasuObs has already grabbed the one contested camp in the middle. He still has this one to creep if he wants to. And he's got his entire side of the map left to creep. So he's going to be able to level up his heroes very nicely here if he wants to. He can stay passive. HooLigan still has a little bit of stuff to go for, like this and this. Perhaps it was a little overly greedy by HooLigan as well to go for the camp here in the middle, having only 3 footmen and the 2 heroes. So Lich is out. Panda is almost level 4 already. Death Knight has reached level 4 already. Level 2 aura for him, so it looks like he's this time not afraid of a nuke. Then again, on map number 1 he also had level 3 aura eventually on level 6, so maybe he just doesn't feel like going for the Death Pact here. Paladin is about to spawn. And yeah, Knights flying machines it is, so he's going for the straight up fighting unit composition. DK, if he gets bolted here, would be very lucky, but HooLigan realizes what's up. The Lich needs to be careful, gets coiled immediately though. Breath of Fire Nova into those peasants is doing sick damage. There's still the TP on HasuObs, which he could use if he runs into trouble, but maybe he's just gonna win this fight straight up. Does he have anything to pass to the Panda? He has a heal potion, an inward potion on the Death Knight, but I think he doesn't get in range of the Panda here, and this could be a way back into this game for HooLigan, who's getting the kill on the Panda here, level 4. Second hero of HasuObs is falling out. The Lich is in trouble. Nuke goes at him, and the creeps actually kill the Lich here. Or was it the creeps? Both of the human heroes, the MK and the IEM, getting a level up, so I'm not sure. I thought it was the creeps. But yeah, a great fight for HasuObs, who's able to separate both the Lich and the Panda from the DK. So the DK, which is very well equipped here, wasn't able to do anything, and HasuObs seems to be back in this game all of a sudden. 59 supply for him. He's got a bunch of knights, he's got a bunch of flying machines. HasuObs rebuying the Panda in the middle. He's at 39 supply, 45 right now. I think he may have just started 2 more statues. That's where the additional 6 supply are coming from. So upside for HasuObs is that his first and second hero were very nicely leveled before this fight already. But the downside is that the heroes of the human can now be leveled at least a little bit. Then again, he's taken this creep camp away, so there's really only these 2 on the side of HasuObs. And I think, where's the Mountain King? I think he really should get those camps taken before he's heading across the map right now. Level 1 Paladin isn't gonna do all too much for him in a fight in which HasuObs is prepared. But he's going for it nevertheless. Maybe he wants to make use of the fact that the heroes are still down, but actually they are not, and therefore this could become a little dangerous. Claws for HasuObs here. He has the Town Portal on the Death Knight and he's using it immediately. He's going for the nuke on one of the knights, but not getting it. Getting 2 flying machines killed here on the way out. He Town Portal to the main. Lich has reached level 2. He's probably going to buy some items, Invo potions on the Panda. He's not buying anything. He's got so much gold. And now HasuObs is the one getting one of HasuObs' camps. He's got a heal potion on the Death Knight still, but he had that previously. So he's investing just into units. I mean, he can morph the Destroyers right now, which costs a little bit, but he still gonna have 600 something. Gold, Breath of Fire coming in super nicely, and the entire anti-air is gone for HasuObs, and he's gonna... Does he have a Town Portal? No, he doesn't have a Town Portal. That's terrible. He just lost the majority of his anti-air. There's no way in hell he can fight 3 mana destroyers here at the moment. And he's gonna have to get going. Another ensnare by the creeps against one of the knights. Is there staff available? Yes, there is the staff on the Paladin, but he cannot use it in time. Another knight is falling. And I don't know what HasuObs is still doing in this fight. He's passing the heal potion to the Paladin. Now the IEM is in trouble, and not having a Town Portal here is really going to backfire at him. Let's see how much units he's gonna lose on his way out. Another bolt on the Paladin here for a second, on the Panda here for a second. Paladin stops there, but he can be staffed by the MK, and therefore no more units lost by HasuObs. So this is a back and forth. Again, this time, a little bit more mistake driven than Turtle Rock was. Death Knights and Panda about 4.5, Lich 2.5, and HasuObs up at 60 supply against 65 still, but okay, he's getting the barrage upgrade for the tanks. I was just about to say, this time there's not nearly enough anti-air to deal with the destroyers, and it looks like he doesn't feel like continuing to produce flying machines against his Panda. Didn't work out so well here. And this time it is HasuObs who's able to apply some pressure to the expansion of HasuObs, but he doesn't even necessarily need to. I mean, it's definitely not a mistake for him to make use of the fact that there is not sufficient anti-air available for his opponent. But this expansion has 5,700, this one has 8,100, so it is up to HasuObs to get into an advantage here in the next bunch of minutes. In the next, like 9 minutes until his expansion runs out. Nova just to keep the knights away from this army. This is a pretty scary number of knights. But still, I'd claim at the moment HasuObs would win the air battle, but the Death Knight's surrounded. Maybe he's gonna... no, okay. I was just thinking that maybe he could take a fight for a few seconds there with the Invo potion, sniping out a couple of units and then TP. I mean, that's what he did, but I think with the Invo potion, perhaps he would have been able to snipe like a second knight, maybe get another good breath in against the flying machines if they come in to attack the destroyers. But he decides to keep the Invo potion, perhaps for a later fight. I mean, it is Equus after all, with only the one shop where there aren't that many Invo potions around, so you really gotta make the best out of them. And yeah, now we see the problem, another little problem here on XyLigan is that HasuObs isn't able to level his second and third heroes as much as he'd like to. Whereas the Panda, DK and even the Lich are getting a lot of XP naturally in those mid games. Whereas now would be the time for HasuObs to creep up his heroes, to maybe build like some rounds of tanks, send them to the expansion or the main, you know, distract the undead and catch up in terms of XP. But that's not gonna happen here because this is the last big camp on the map except for this one, but that one's gonna be gone by the time HasuObs arrives to level 5 on the DK, pulling away immediately 4 more statues around. So HasuObs is gonna go into a lot of destroyers, level 3 on the Lich as well, pulling away. So he wants to have 5-5-3 here, which, you know, I cannot argue with. Panda is getting level 5 and the second pair of boots of speed, so for the Lich perhaps. Death Knight doesn't really need the additional movement speed here. Or he doesn't need it as much as the Lich does. Or perhaps he could also sell them. Or keep them both on the Panda, which I think is the worst decision. Interesting scout rule here by HasuObs. So yeah, still only those few flying machines, another bunch of knights. I don't think that HasuObs wants to take a straight up fight at the moment. How is it looking tank wise? 4 are in the main, he's getting a 5th one. Breath of Fire is coming in. And yeah, a bunch of peasants have fallen. We've seen the Breath of Fire recently doing a bit of damage to those initially. He sees that this camp is gone, but he sees that the forest there is also gone. Perhaps giving him a pretty good position to work with, because the knights, yeah, they have to squeeze through those through this small gap, but they are successfully able to do so very quickly. Panda even uses the Imbo potion here, doesn't have mana for another Breath of Fire, but that was a nice little engagement there for HasuObs. He was forced to pull the town portal, was forced to pull the Imbo potion as well, but look at this pile of corpses, definitely worth it. XP wise as well, getting a little bit more. And the Shade, I think the Shade just, wow, he didn't see the tank army apparently, and is being seen by HasuObs right now, so he misses out on perhaps some game deciding information. 2-0 upgrades on those tanks. Could really get some more, but it looks like, I mean, he researched Barrage, he's massed up 5 tanks. This isn't like distraction, base killing stuff. He wants to use those tanks against the flying machines as anti-air, against the destroyers as anti-air instead of flying machines, but I'm not really sure if 5 tanks are gonna do it here, because their damage output against single units isn't that great. I mean, they do have the splash, but yeah, it's better against like gargoyles or that type of mass low HP unit, not really destroyers. But yeah, we'll find out. Now the big push occurs. The mains have run out, by the way, and HasuObs is coming in from the top, from the bottom. Speaking of gargoyles, he's got a few. First nuke on the first knight is being used here, and Staff of Sanctuary used as well. And the tanks are actually rolling forward, and yeah, he's trying to go for the air units. A Boneyard added by HasuObs as well. He's not morphing more destroyers here, and he's town porting perhaps to the back of his base to reposition here. This is a rather awkward position, and yeah, this is a little bit better with the goose in the front. The tanks are switching to the main here immediately. HasuObs is bringing all of his acolytes to do some repair. First tank has already been taken out of the fight. Breath of Fire is doing a good job against those. Another tank is getting out of the fight. The meat wagon is horribly mispositioned, unfortunately for HasuObs, but it doesn't look like the damage output is nearly enough to get this main killed. Another knight is falling. The gargoyles this time are reigning supreme in the air and are able to do some free damage, and it doesn't look like HasuObs really has the means to deal with HasuObs' army right now. He has to fall back. The main is safely surviving. Another tank has been taken out, and yeah, HasuObs down to 61 supply. Healing used on the Mountain King, Imbo Potion used on both the Mountain King, and Divine Shield on the Paladin. The last 2 tanks are doing a bit of anti-air damage. One of them is being taken out, and these tanks against the destroyers have not worked out. There is nothing remaining against the destroyers for HasuObs. He's losing his level 3 Mountain King. The next knight is being staffed out, but this push has failed, and therefore HasuObs is in a very, 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 very dominant position, especially after this Paladin is falling. And yeah, he's got his main secured. He's even got the Boneyard up. He's got no mana on the Lich. Maybe sack a Gargoyle to get this one. No. Nevertheless, He's got everything he needs here. He's got the expansion, which is gonna last a lot longer. Breath of Fire. No, he decides not to go for it for reasons that are that the Panda doesn't have 70 mana. And he's the one with the expansion with 4,500 gold in it against the expansion with 2,300 gold in it. Vastly superior heroes, vastly superior army and army size, better economic situation, no possibility for really any laming to get back into this game for HasuObs. Yeah, this is looking splendidly for HasuObs, who's not even gonna wait it out apparently and drain his opponent out of gold. Just going for the counter push immediately. I mean, both the Mountain King and the Paladin are dead currently. More mana being drained from those statues. He's got like 6 mana destroyers right now. He's just marching through those towers. Doesn't care about them at all. Nuke goes on the AM. And that was quick. GG. 1-1. HasuObs tying the series here in a game that in many ways went similarly to the game on Turtle Rock. This time though, I think HasuObs kind of forced to go into the counter expansion play, but again his early game was so good. He had no problems getting the counter expansion done, and he had no problems, you know, getting it properly defended, leveling his heroes, and yeah, just be in a superior position throughout the majority of this game, despite losing 2 of his heroes at the Merc camp of HasuObs, which I think he could have just town portaled pretty early on to, you know, make sure to maintain his advantage. But nevertheless, he wins this game in the end, thanks to especially having the Panda level up extremely quickly, again like on Turtle Rock, and making it very difficult for HasuObs to make this regular unit composition of knights and flying machines work. And then the switch into tanks did not work out for HasuObs. The push was deflected successfully by HasuObs, and therefore he's taking this map number 2. And we're gonna have a deciding match for the first player to go up to 6 points in this Group A, or in this entire tournament for that matter. And the deciding map is going to be Twisted Meadows.